The recruiting station was inside a railing in the rotunda. A fleet sergeant sat at a desk there, in dress uniform, gaudy as a circus. His chest was loaded with ribbons I couldn't read, but his right arm was off so short that his tunic had been tailored without any sleeve at all. And when you came up to the rail, you could see that he had no legs. It didn't seem to bother him. Carl said, "Good morning, I want to join up." "Me too," I added. He ignored us. He managed to bow while sitting down and said, "Good morning, young lady. What can I do for you?" "I want to join up too." He smiled. "Good girl. If you'll just scoot up to room 201 and ask for Major Rojas, she'll take care of you." He looked her up and down. "Pilot?" "If possible." "You look like one. Well, see Miss Rojas." She left, with thanks to him and a see you later to us. He turned his attention to us, sized us up with a total absence of the pleasure he had shown little Carmen. "So," he said, "for what? Labor battalions?" "Oh, no," I said. "I'm going to be a pilot." He stared at me and simply turned his eyes away. "You?" "I'm interested in the Research and Development Corps," Carl said soberly. "Especially electronics. I understand the chances are pretty good." "They are if you can cut it," the fleet sergeant said grimly. "And not if you don't have what it takes, both in preparation and ability. Look, boys, have you any idea why they have me out here in front?" I didn't understand him. Carl said, "Why?" "Because the government doesn't care one bucket of swill whether you join or not. Because it has become stylish, with some people, too many people, to serve a term and earn a franchise and be able to wear a ribbon on your lapel which says that you are a veteran, whether you've ever seen combat or not. But if you want to serve, and I can't talk you out of it, then we have to take you, because that's your constitutional right. It says that everybody, male or female, shall have his born right to pay his service and assume full citizenship. But the facts are that we are getting hard pushed to find things for all the volunteers to do that aren't just glorified KP. You can't all be real military men. We don't need that many, and most of the volunteers aren't #1 soldier material anyhow. Got any idea what it takes to make a soldier?" "No," I admitted. "Most people think that all it takes is 2 hands and 2 feet and a stupid mind. Maybe so, for cannon fodder. Possibly that was all that Julius Caesar required. But a private soldier today is a specialist so highly skilled that he would rate master in any other trade. We can't afford stupid ones. So for those who insist on serving their term, but haven't got what we want and must have, we've had to think up a whole list of dirty, nasty, dangerous jobs that will either run 'em home with their tails between their legs and make their terms uncompleted, or at the very least make 'em remember for the rest of their lives that their citizenship is valuable to them, because they've paid a high price for it. Take that young lady who is here. Wants to be a pilot. I hope she makes it. We always need good pilots. Not enough of 'em. Maybe she will. But if she misses, she may wind up in Antarctica, her pretty eyes red from never seeing anything but artificial light, and her knuckles calloused from hard, dirty work. I wanted to tell him that the least Carmencita could get was computer programmer for the Skywatch. She really was a whiz at math, but he was talking. "So they put me out here to discourage you boys. Look at this." He shoved his chair around to make sure that we could see that he was legless. "Let's assume you don't wind up digging tunnels on Luna, or playing human guinea pig for new diseases through sheer lack of talent. Suppose we do make a fighting man out of you. Take a look at me. This is what you may buy, if you don't buy the whole farm and cause your folks to receive a deeply regret telegram, which is more likely, because these days, in training or in combat, there aren't many wounded. If you buy it all, they'll likely throw in a coffin. I'm the rare exception. I was lucky. Though maybe you wouldn't call it lucky. He paused, then added, So why don't you boys go home, go to college, and then go be chemists or insurance brokers or whatever? A term of service isn't a kiddie camp. It's either real military service, rough and dangerous even in peacetime, or a more unreasonable facsimile thereof. Not a vacation, not a romantic adventure. Well, Carl said, I'm here to join up. Me too. You realize that you aren't allowed to pick your service. Carl said, I thought we could state our preferences. Certainly. And that's the last choice you'll make until the end of your term. The placement officer pays attention to your choice too. First thing he does is to check whether there's any demand for left-handed glass blowers this week. That being what you think would make you happy. Having reluctantly conceded that there is a need for your choice, probably at the bottom of the Pacific, he then tests you for innate ability and preparation. About 1 in 20 times, he is forced to admit that everything matches, and you get the job, until some practical joker gives you dispatch orders to do something very different. But the other 19 times, he turns you down, and decides that you are just what they have been needing to field test survival equipment on Titan. He added meditatively, It's chilly on Titan, and it's amazing how often experimental equipment fails to work. Have to have real field tests, though. Laboratories just never get all the answers. I can qualify for electronics, Carl said firmly, if there are jobs open in it. So? And how about you, bub? I hesitated, and suddenly realized that if I didn't take a swing at it, I would wonder all my life whether I was anything but the boss's son. I'm going to chance it. Well, you can't say I didn't try. Got your birth certificates with you? Then let's see your IDs. 10 minutes later, still not sworn in, we were on the